Mr. Speaker, I think it is discrimination against those schools. Mr. Speaker, I want to compliment the Senator of Nairobi for the way you have demonstrated a serious understanding of a serious medical problem like the one we have in Nairobi and by extension in all the 47 counties of Kenya. My contribution is that the country is starting to wake up to basic needs of Kenyans. Health is a basic need, and it's just not enough when we address the issue of health, Mr. Speaker, to be viewing it through the spectacles of the doctors, the nurses, the professors, and the infrastructure. It is the primary health care that is the game changer in good health. Mr. Speaker, I therefore suggest that we develop a formal national program for community health promoters that will include, amongst other things, some form of training. Health promoters must be given basic training in areas like, Mr. Speaker, first aid, because more often than not, these people are the first line of defense as far as taking care of our patients is concerned. They should be trained, Mr. Speaker, on interpretation of the various results that they get. For example, when they do a blood pressure test, they do a blood sugar test, they should know so as to know how to respond appropriately. Mr. Speaker, it must also be understood, and the leader of minority tried to scratch on it, but let me just emphasize how important it is. It must be understood that majority of the women in Kenya, pregnant, are midwifed not by nurses, not by doctors, but by traditional birth attendants. And therefore, if a stipend is being given to community health promoters, all traditional birth attendants in all Kenyan communities must also be given that stipend. Finally, on that point, Mr. Speaker, it's a shame that we are talking about a stipend of 2,500 from the national government and 2,500 from the county government. What can you buy with 5,000 shillings? I mean, we are laughing at these professionals who are doing a very good job. This is money which sometimes when I pass through supermarkets, I see some people in Nairobi shopping for their dogs. The food they buy is more than what we pay our community health promoters. If we are doing it, we must be serious and do it well. And the money is there. The money you see people flashing around in church harambes, the money you see people hiring choppers to some funny functions in this country is the money that is supposed to give this kind of service, Mr. Speaker. And we shall not stop in calling out these corrupt characters who, after feeding on the proceeds of corruption, they show off and vomit on our shoes and vomit on the feet of our children who have no shoes when they are going to school. Mr. Speaker, I would like to end by commending the Senator Onyonga for the issue you have raised in Marani sub-county about licensing in mining. This problem is serious. It is in Nyatige, Makarda. It is in Ikolomani, Isulu, Lirembe, Malinya, Shikoye, Masienze. Mr. Speaker, it is in Shinyalu, Imwiriza, Liranda. It is in Lurambi, Mr. Speaker, in Rosterman. It is across, yes. Yes, you are right, Senator Faki. This is a cross-cutting issue which we must address. And gold mining and mining in general, it is so profitable that even when they do it at great risk, our children still go down there. We have to pay proper attention and support the mining industry Today, as I speak, we are burying Chui in Shtori village, who perished last week in a gold mining danger after the walls caved in. Mr. Speaker, day after tomorrow, I'll be running to Kakamega to go and bury yet another youth. Not that we love funerals, but because if we don't stand with them, then what kind of people are we that people voted for when we don't stand with them during a time of need? And Mr. Speaker, talking about support to gold mining, I want to remind government over and over again that if you want to talk business with Kakamega County, come and talk about gold mining. Come and talk about sugarcane farming. If you are unable to talk about those two in Kakamega, we are sorry, we don't want to do any business with you. And this is why the people of Kakamega and the sober leaders, and for the first time I want to congratulate the governor of Kakamega. He has gotten it right on the issue of sugarcane farming. Mr. Speaker, we worked so hard to get it right until His Excellency the President 2 weeks ago came and paid our farmers bonus. And now, when things were just upright, another character called a receiver manager, in collaboration with corrupt fellows in Kenya Commercial Bank, they then tell Mr. Rai of West Kenya to come and interfere with the smooth running of Mumias Sugar Company by Sarbi. Mr. Speaker, this cannot be allowed. Sarbi has a valid lease agreement with Mumias Sugar Company, and there's only one Mumias Sugar Company in the world. There is no Mumias Sugar Company A or Mumias Sugar Company B. So if Sarbi has Mumias Sugar Company, he should be the only one milling, he should be the only one, Mr. Speaker, managing the ethanol plant. He should be the only one, Mr. Speaker, managing the Ecogen plant. An attempt to bring in the Cogen brand. Mr. Speaker, an attempt to bring in Mr. Rai of West Kenya is going to bring to a standstill the operations in Mumias. We will not allow. It will not be the first time that our leader will be having his limb broken in Mumias. We will do it another time. Honorable Benjamin Washiali, his hand was fractured because of Mumias Sugar Company. And on the same day, Mr. Speaker, my head was cut on the left side, if you look now, in Mumias Sugar Company, and I bled because we believe sugarcane farming is the lifeline of our people. I am warning the young politicians who are given, Salasia is doing a fantastic job about this job. He's on the same stand like me and the governor. I want to warn the young politicians from Kakamega who are being influenced to go and support the conmanship from West Kenya. Mumias Sugar Company will be run by Sarbi and not anybody else until you cancel the agreement.
Majority Whip, would you like to be informed by Senator Mtata?
Yes, I would like him to inform me. In fact, he's a presidential candidate. He's the right person.
Senator
the first
Mtata.
presidential candidate to inform me in my life.
Where is this parliament located? What kind of question is that? You don't mention the obvious. I would like to inform the Honorable Khalwale, who may have forgotten, after the Kakamega incident, when the thugs were after you, yes, I gave you refuge. I gave you the documentation with which you silenced them.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, indeed, this is a great man. I had been cornered. I had been cornered with one of the people who were responsible for the collapse of Mumias. And if it had not been for the industry of the Senator of Busia, I would have been found liable for slander. So he gave me facts with which I faced the courts, and I want to thank the Senator of Kisumu. Oh, he's not in today. There's Professor Tom Ojienda. After he looked at my case, he was representing the guy who had sued me. Professor Ojienda, then told the guy who was pursuing me that you have no chance with this kind of facts. Professor, you are a very good lawyer. Very few lawyers can tell their clients the truth.
Majority
Mr.
Whip,
Speaker, I conclude.
Would you like to be informed by Senator Cherargei?
Yes.
Senator Cherargei?
Mr. Speaker, I would like to inform Senator Khalwale, my neighbor, that also when you go to Kibos Sugar Factory, there is a plant for methanol and ethanol generation, but it has not been operational because of challenges and political interference. Would it be in order to request him to bring an inquiry with a possible chairman of Agriculture, Senator Wakoli, so that because me, Senator Khalwale, Senator Aaron, and Senator Wakoli, and Senator Sifuna, we come from sugar cane growing areas, so that we resolve. But he's the biggest consumer, and Senator Okia or Mutata. But Mr. Speaker, but they are the biggest consumers of sugar. So he has a direct, and he has a farm in Bungoma that is a sugarcane farmer, a small-time sugarcane farmer. And Senator Okia, so that we form an inquiry, so that we can assist you, a very good friend called Sarbi. And I'm happy Sarbi is doing a good job in Kakamega and also to you. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I really appreciate the information. And because of the information, I want to send you the greetings of the people of Kakamega to the people of Nandi, especially Mosop. After we encourage them to grow sugarcane, every Thursday when they come to collect money at Butali Sugar Company, all our alcohol is sorted out, is finished, it is sold out, and the economy, Mr. Speaker.
Cherargei, what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker.
Can you give Cherargei the mic? What's your point of order, Cherargei? Give him the mic.
Mr. Speaker, on the standing order on accuracy of facts, is it in order for the Senator Khalwale to impute improper motive against the great people of Nandi by saying we are consumers of alcohol, that whenever we go and collect money in Nigerian Putali Sugar Company, that my farmers end up taking alcohol? Is it in order? Mr. Speaker, can he apologize and withdraw? Mr. Speaker, most of us are Christians, Mr. Speaker, and Muslims, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, what in fact he should thank us. Mr. Speaker, Senator Khalwale should thank us, because apart from getting money, we also assist them with matrimonial duties, Mr. Speaker, and we have been able to leave seeds that when you go to Kakamega, they are now participating in athletics, courtesy of the fruits of our loins, Mr. Speaker. Is it in order?
Mr. Speaker, I don't know why the Senator of Nandi was running ahead of me. I just said, because of the way they promote our economy, you go and greet them. And I'd only singled out one. Allow me to also say that it has also resulted in an increased number of our women getting married in Mosop, which is a good thing because you pay dowry. As to whether you are good at the nuptial responsibilities, that is an agreement between a man and wife, I have no idea. I therefore, Mr. Speaker, want to thank the House for allowing me this afternoon to make this point very clear. It is not a joke. Butali Sugar Company is an economy of 10 billion shillings a year in Kakamega. West Kenya is an economy of 24 billion shillings in Kakamega. And Mumias Sugar Company is an economy of 40 billion shillings in Kakamega. Anybody coming to play around with it, using the money of farmers to buy a few MCAs to start supporting Mr. Rai, is missing the point. Mr. Rai, I assure you from this floor that I'm going to protect you. Government will protect you to do your business in West Kenya. Please allow Sarbi to do his business in Mumias. There is no contradiction. I know you are unhappy because through the new law,
Senator
thanks to this
Cheriot,
House,
what is your point of order?
Neighbors.
Mr. Speaker,
Neighbors.
I use this one. Mr. Speaker, because my good friend Senator Khalwale appears to be fairly knowledgeable in this matter that he is raising, would he perhaps, for the understanding of the rest of us, help explain the intricacies that you are reading about this complex relationship that he's trying to describe? You can see actually he's vowing on one side of his mouth that he will protect Mr. Rai because he's a big investor in his own county, while on the other hand admonishing him not to interfere with the operations of Mumias. What I have read in the papers, and the good majority whip can help us appreciate, is that Mumias Sugar Company is under receivership. That the receiver manager has allowed the man he's calling Sarai to run the sugar mill. But then they are insisting that because the other two businesses are unrelated to this one, they want to allow another player to run as well. That's what the media is reporting. Could he perhaps help us or even furnish the House with better information? Because we are all interested to see that town of Mumias grow to the levels that it used to be before Mumias Sugar Company went down. And it will be very exciting if actually that region and that industry was to come up. So I don't know, Senator Boni Khalwale will be better placed to educate us and inform us of what exactly is happening.
Senator Boni Khalwale, I hope you've understood the point of order raised by...
Yes, yes.
If you could please clarify on that.
Thank you, Leader of Majority. That is exactly the point. The mischief by the newspaper was lack of clarity. But the clarity is as follows. There is enough cane for West Kenya to mill and support the 24 billion economy in its area. Enough for Butali Sugar to mill and support the 10 billion economy. And enough for Mumias to support 40 billion because Mumias also uses Busia farmers. So they have got a bigger catchment area. Now, to run the ethanol plant, dear Kenyans, to run the ethanol plant, which is in Mumias, to run the Ecogen plant, which is in Mumias, you need raw materials. And those raw materials come from Mumias, the mill, the same mill, Mumias Sugar Company. Mr. Speaker, the ethanol plant, why we want Rai of West Kenya to keep off, is that the ethanol plant is in the same compound and in the same machine of Mumias Sugar Mills. The power generating plant similarly is in the same. The gate is one, the compound is one, the complex that produces these three things is one. So it is an administrative nightmare for the receiver manager to imagine that you can bring in two warring companies who are actually brothers to then have an opportunity to kill each other. We don't want to see Indians killing each other over our machine. We want to see Indians working over our machine. And Mr. Speaker, sir, this point is very important. It is not a question of impulse. It's a question that has been subjected to a decision of the High Court. The High Court has found that Rai has no entry point into Mumias Sugar Company because he had claimed that earlier on he had bought the ethanol and the Ecogen plant. So when challenged in court to demonstrate that he bought, the only thing he could show was an agreement. Now, when challenged further, because an agreement can be drafted including on computers and River Road, when challenged to support that agreement with the actual payments that he made, he said he paid the money from Dubai and no evidence of bank transactions, and therefore the court ruled that RAI has no demonstrable interest in that company, and therefore ordered that Sarbi of Mumias Sugar Company to now proceed unhindered. So the only thing remaining is for this House to raise its voice, is for the national government to raise its voice so that there is peace in Kakamega. Mr. Speaker, since this problem started around 10 days ago, we have had 4 demonstrations by farmers who are pushing what I'm saying, and one occasion by MCAs who are carrying twigs, but they were chased away like dogs. I don't think they will try again. So, leader of my majority, it's now clear, and it's good for Kenya. You know why? Mumias Sugar Company in the last 12 months produced 100,000 tons. In the process, Kenya, which was being faced with a sugar deficit of 200,000 metric tons, Mumias by itself, 50% of that shortage, it cut it off. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, the other factories then contributed to the extent that we have not imported sugar this time. So it is not something you can interfere with. And what's more, West Kenya Sugar, Mumias Sugar Company, on Thursday, pays 194 million shillings to our farmers per week, every Thursday. You want me to keep quiet so that people who receive 194 million shillings in Kakamega can be shortchanged due to the greed of Sarbi, of RAI? We know RAI. RAI sneaked into Webuye Sugar Company, and Wakoli is here. Not Mumias Sugar. He sneaked into Pan Paper and cheated that he would revive Pan Paper. Today there is no Pan Paper. It is now being used. It was used shamefully last year for the fake fertilizer as storage. That is how RAI wants to do his business. The same RAI is the one who led to the collapse of the timber industry. You all remember, people of Washington Gishu, the RAI ply fiasco. We can't allow business people of this type. Mr. Speaker, it's starting to look good. The president appears to understand sugarcane farming. We will keep on giving him information like I'm doing now for him to continue making decisions with clarity, because it is after I fed him with this kind of accurate information that he came up with the statement of Mambo Matatu. Yes, we were with you on that rally. And after he said Mambo Matatu, the same RAI quickly ran out of court, and this is how the sugar factory has become profitable. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President. Receive the greetings of the people of Kakamega. There's like a small boy. Mr. President, there is a young man in Kakamega who you allowed the privilege to be a minister despite his limitations. He is the one who is being used to cause confusion by RAI. RAI, please, Rashid is not our leader. Rashid Mohammed cannot be our leader. Rashid has no competence to lead Dr. Sen.Khalwale. No. If farmers have a choice, they know who to ask. You cannot kill our industry. You are killing us. You are killing our women. You are killing our children. Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Keroche Tabitha.